was kind of researching the polls, and I was looking at the ones that were particularly biased. Of course, the most biased ones tend to be the Ipsos, Reuters, and ABC, Washington Post.
Right.
And if you look at those polls, and then you also look at the party affiliation numbers, you get a very distorted picture. So I believe the last Ipsos Reuters poll had 40% Democrat and 24% Republican sample. And it gets worse when you include the people that say they lean Democrat or lean Republican. And it also had a lower number of independents. And of course, that hurts Trump in two ways. It's more Democrats, less Republicans, and less independents. Independents tend to go for Trump. Now, that's bad enough. But there's reason to believe that, like, pretty much fucking all of these polls are bullshit. Because even the ones that seem to be legit, where, like, it's not like, oh, Hillary's ahead by 12 points, which is absurd. But the ones where it's like she's ahead by, like, 5 points. In particular, there was a Gravis marketing poll, and the site where I'm getting this from is American Thinker. If you go and look at like biased polls on American Thinker, which is a good blog, paleo-conservative blog, you know, not they're not on our team, but you know,
yeah,
decent enough for what they do.
Right.
They're actually doing. It's not just like conspiracy theory. Like these polls are fake because I like Ron Paul or I like Bernie, and it's like no. They're legitimately crunching the numbers, and what they're finding is it's not just party affiliation that's skewed. They take an area and they're saying, so for example, they're talking about Virginia. How did Virginia vote in 2012? And I think Virginia voted in 2012, like, I think Obama won it by like 3%. So like, okay, so who are they polling in Virginia? And also it's very convenient. They also ask a question of how did you vote in 2012? So it's like they're oversampling Democrats, but not only are they oversampling Democrats, when the people answer how they voted in 2012, it's like 9% difference in terms of who voted for Obama versus who voted for Romney. So that's a huge discrepancy. And that's a discrepancy that falls outside of a margin for error because it's an actual test from an actual election. So it's like they're not just they're like oversampling in multiple ways. It's more Democrats and more people that voted for Obama in 2012, which is probably a better indicator than just party affiliation, because party affiliation is skewed Democratic somewhat. It's probably like 35 to 28%.
I don't really think it's that wide.
It's like it's like 5 or 6.
It's like 5 or 6 points.
It's definitely leaning Democrat. But so it's like, so I read several blog posts on American Thinker where they were going down and breaking down individual polls, and then they're saying, you know, it's not the only one that's doing this. So it's actually, there is a fucking conspiracy to juke Trump's poll numbers. And I mean, I've always kind of felt it because these numbers that were coming out were like ridiculous. Yeah. And now we have proof. I mean, you're not going to really convince anybody. Like, tell a liberal this, they'll tell you that you might as well be, you know, wearing a tinfoil hat. Even if you show them like very carefully broken down numbers, they're like, well, here we have the voting for 2012. And you know, like, do you think people voting for Romney in 2012 are really shifting to Clinton that hard? I mean, you're not even sampling them. It's possible that some are, but you're not even sampling that group. So it's bullshit. It's a fucking psyop. They're trying to demoralize Trump people. I don't think it's going to work because one thing they've consistently found is that people that say they're voting for Trump don't change their mind. Like, people don't say I'm for Trump and then jump off later on. Like, people that are for Trump are for Trump. So it's possible that he's maybe behind. I don't know. He's definitely not behind in swing states, though. In the swing states, he's definitely ahead. Mm-hmm. And the national polls are just total bullshit. They're showing you Hillary ahead by 12 points. That's a fucking psyop, dude. They're trying to demoralize people. It's bullshit, and don't fall for it.
A 48% D? in one poll he was. I mean, that's insane.
That's the Ipsos Reuters poll is the most ridiculous. So it's like if you combine Democrats and leaning Democrats, you get 48%,
which is crazy. And so what you get is you get the national average skewed by enough to demoralize Trump support. I mean, it's just.
I mean, right now they've
blatant.
got the national average at like 7-point gap for Hillary. Yeah. And what it does is it's not even necessarily the Trump voters, because they're not really going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's the fucking GOP. What they're doing is they're attacking the psyche of like
and
the
it's
GOP.
before, and we still haven't had the convention yet. So we're still not even out of the woods on that yet. What is that in a couple weeks?
I mean, I think what they're trying to do is actually do a psyop on like the GOP to like not nominate him somehow, or to like do some kind of thing. I don't think that can happen.